Hello, everyone. We're going to review the Humanities Pre-Write Unit today. At this point, you should have completed the Course Preview Unit, as well as the Humanities Explore Unit. Please remember that when we log into our course, you need to please look at the news post, as I will be consistently adding updates and important reminders. So for example, you can see feedback on assignments thus far. There are multiple important points here, such as using proper capitalization, punctuation, complete sentences, and double spacing all documents. If a student is completing a Dropbox assignment, they should be composing that assignment in a Word document and then uploading the document to the Dropbox. So please make sure that for Dropbox assignments, you're uploading a document and not just typing directly in the notes box. Additionally, when we are using information from sources, we should be giving signal phrases that lead into our example or our evidence, and then we should always cite our evidence. So I've provided you two links. One is how to use signal phrases properly, and the other is how to cite properly. The upcoming humanities paper is an MLA style paper. So we will be using the MLA format. An occasional first person I is acceptable because this is a personal reflection on a piece of artwork. However, we should be avoiding second person pronoun you in all academic writing. When we use you in writing, it's giving a command. And under the circumstances of academic, professional, and formal writing, we want to avoid giving commands. So rather than saying you, it would be more effective to say people or students or artists, depending upon what the situation is. But again, avoid using you at the beginning in any sentence because it is a command. Also, we want to avoid using this, that, these, and those at sentence beginnings, and instead replace those demonstrative pronouns with a more specific noun. This will create greater clarity in your work and more emphasis of the subject. Okay. As always, please make sure that you email me if you have any questions or concerns, but do keep in mind that I am not constantly online. During the weekdays, Monday through Friday, I'm online in the mornings before 7 a.m. and then in the afternoons after 2:30 p.m. So please reach out to me and recognize that I'll respond again either first thing in the morning or in the afternoon after 2:30 p.m. Thus far, I have updated everything that has been submitted. So please make sure that you go back and review the feedback that I have given you. The feedback is extremely important to help to make sure that we are improving as we move forward. Okay. I did also post information about the multi-factor authentication. This is something that is recommended for all students to complete so that if you have password issues, you're able to reset your own password. And it is for your safety and protection of all of your personal information that is stored within the college that you keep your accounts secure. So please take a look at the multi-factor authentication. And at this point, again, we have a number of assignments that are due this evening. I've updated everything that's been submitted so far. So please make sure to review your feedback. I'm going to go ahead into our course now through the course content tab. Then I'm going to scroll down to the Writing for the Humanities unit. The first lesson within the Writing for Humanities unit is the preview, where there was a Hume reading response that dealt with an article and a response to said article. You had the essay guidelines. You had the selection of your art piece discussion forum. With all discussion forums, please make sure to respond to at least one peer in an intelligent and critical manner. So you're referring directly back to what a peer said, explaining whether you agree or disagree, what other thoughts you have about what they've said. But that's for every discussion forum. So if you haven't been doing this thus far, please make sure that for any discussion forum, you are responding thoughtfully and critically to a peer. Obviously, we're going to maintain respect for all. And, we're not going to be derogatory towards a person or their opinions, but we are looking to agree, disagree, to have a discussion. This is what's essentially taking place of in-class discussions. So please make sure to always respond to a peer in discussion forums. We then have a visual vocabulary video, and this was to help students become familiarized with the type of vocabulary that you should be using within your paper. Then we had the thesis template, which prepared you to submit your thesis for your paper. The thesis is a sentence that should appear at the end of the introduction, and everything within the paper is driven by that thesis statement. So try to make it as critical and well-crafted as possible. The remainder of the introduction should include some kind of hook to draw in your audience in the first line or two, then provide some foundational background knowledge about the piece of art or the artist. You could use source materials for that background information, but again, please make sure to cite everything appropriately in MLA format. And then that brings us to the pre-write unit, which is what should be completed by the end of this upcoming week. You have Hum Reading 2, which is another reading and response. Again, try to give specific examples from the text, cite those examples, and explain how those examples support your claim. After that, we have an outline. So in the outline templates and samples, you have the primary document that you can go ahead and download and complete. So it gives you a step-by-step process of how your outline could be developed. For some students, this might seem a little too rigid, so I am open to some variations, but the major objective is that we are using appropriate visual vocabulary and specific examples from the image and explaining how those images and the use of that particular artistic style creates a particular meaning or message of a piece of art. Remember, we're not going to be using second person pronoun you at all throughout the writing of this humanities essay. An occasional I would be acceptable, but we want to limit that as well. Instead of saying, I think the piece of art X develops a tone of eagerness and excitement because of the bright colors, just make a direct claim. The use of bright colors in piece of art X creates a sense of excitement and anticipation, right? So we don't need the I think. It weakens our stance. So as much as possible, we are trying to write in a third person narration. It's most appropriate for all academic coursework and professional work as well. So again, you're going to download this document and then fill it in with your own information and then upload it to the Dropbox. You may use supporting sources, and in anything that you do choose to use, please make sure that it is cited appropriately using MLA format. I have also provided a few other sample outlines that you are welcome to utilize instead of the template that is provided. Again, I'm trying to give you a little bit of flexibility with how you approach your paper. The major objective is that each body paragraph has a clear, narrowed focus. We should ultimately have a 4-paragraph essay, an introduction, 2 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. Your goal is to have between 600 and 800 words and focus on the analysis of the piece, which means what type of mood or feeling or theme does the piece of art develop. And then finally, you're going to upload your line to the Dropbox. as you can see, there are fewer assignments this week, but both of them are a little bit lengthier. On average, a student should expect to spend about 4 hours a week for a course, reading your information, processing it, and then completing any associated assignments. So please make sure that you are setting aside the appropriate amount of time to make sure that you get things done to the best of your ability. After this upcoming week and the submission of Hum Reading 2 and the outline, we then move into the humanities draft. With the draft, you are required to receive professional feedback. So what you are submitting to this professional feedback Dropbox are the comments or feedback that you have received from your tutor. So you're encouraged to meet either online with a tutor or on campus with an SBC tutor. And you would utilize these links to set up that appointment. The instructions tell you that you can take a photo or a screenshot of the feedback, and that is what you are submitting to the Dropbox. You are welcome to submit your actual paper as well, so that I could give you some additional feedback, but the grade for this assignment is based upon the student meeting with a tutor and receiving from some tutor feedback. You also have some instructions on how to insert an image into a Word document. Please make sure that your art selected piece is inserted into the actual Word document. It should also be sized so that the text wraps around the image and does not interrupt the flow of your paragraphs. Okay? And then the final lesson that is associated with the humanities unit deals with your revision and your final submission. I have some sample papers, as well as some additional links on signal phrases, transition words, and fragments that should be consulted before submitting your final paper to the Dropbox by September 8th. Okay? Please, again, make sure to be planning appropriately and working your way through the course content one lesson at a time. Okay? There are finally a few additional, again, the additional resources. Please make sure to review them. Perhaps you would like to even look at this sample paper prior to your outline and your drafting. As always, please use the email within my courses to email me if you have any concerns or questions. And if necessary, we can set up a Zoom meeting to discuss any concerns. Okay, but again, please allow for appropriate time for me to respond to your email and to set up said meeting. You do also have access to the tutors on all St. Petersburg College campuses, including online tutor sessions. So please take advantage of those resources, and you can use the links within the Hum draft lesson to get access to the learning support centers. Okay. I hope you all have an excellent week, and keep me posted on anything that you might need. Thanks again. I'll see you all soon.